Alaska's endless wilderness stretches beneath the sky heavy with secrets, its silence broken only by the wind and the distant cries of unseen creatures. For generations, this remote frontier has been the setting for tales that defy explanation, stories where tragedy and terror intertwine, and the boundary between fact and folklore dissolves in the icy mist. Locals speak in hushed tones of encounters that leave scars, of legends that linger in the shadows, and of mysteries that remain unsolved. Tonight, we journey deep into the heart of Alaska's darkness, where 7 true accounts reveal a landscape haunted by both human loss and something far more sinister. But as each story unfolds, one question remains. In Alaska, are we ever truly alone? Alaska's wilderness stretches endlessly, a frozen expanse where silence is broken only by the wind and the distant cries of unseen creatures. The isolation here is not just physical, it seeps into the mind, feeding a quiet dread that grows with each passing night. Residents and travelers alike speak of a constant unease, a sense that something ancient and unknowable lurks just beyond the reach of firelight. Police reports and personal diaries reveal patterns of paranoia, sleeplessness, and unexplained disappearances, all set against the backdrop of snow-laden forests and abandoned towns. In Alaska, the cold is not the only thing that chills the bones. It is the feeling that the land itself is watching, waiting, and hiding secrets no one dares to name. Alaska's vast wilderness is more than a backdrop. It's a living presence, silent and watchful. For decades, locals have whispered about unexplained disappearances, people vanishing without a trace into the endless snow and forest. Strange noises echo across frozen valleys, distant howls, footsteps crunching where no one should walk, and voices carried on the wind. In these cold shadows, folklore thrives. Stories of shape-shifting creatures and restless spirits passed down through generations. Each tale blurs the line between reality and nightmare, leaving a lingering question. What truly waits in the darkness beyond the last porch light? In the remote village of Wales, Alaska, a snowstorm swept across the landscape, muffling all sound and blurring the horizon. On January 17th, 2023, the silence was shattered when a polar bear emerged, unseen from the whiteout. Within moments, a young mother, Summer Myomic, and her 1-year-old son, Clyde Ongtawasruk, were attacked. The bear's presence was sudden and merciless, leaving the community in shock and grief. For the first time in over 30 years, a deadly encounter with a polar bear had claimed lives, raising unsettling questions about what else might be lurking, hidden by the endless snow. In the aftermath of the Wales attack, police reports detail a scene of chaos and disbelief. Eyewitnesses recall the blinding snowstorm that concealed the polar bear's approach, followed by desperate screams echoing through the village. Residents scrambled for safety, some clutching children, others frozen in shock as the animal moved with unnatural purpose. When the bear was finally brought down, a heavy silence settled over the community, broken only by the distant howl of the wind and the sobs of those left behind. To this day, survivors speak of the uncanny quiet that lingered, as if the land itself mourned what had occurred. Unanswered questions linger in the frozen silence of Wales, Alaska. Was the polar bear driven by desperation and hunger, or did the blinding snowstorm conceal something darker, a force that compelled the animal beyond instinct? Locals recall the eerie quiet before the attack, a stillness broken only by the bear's sudden emergence from the white void. Police reports detail the chaos, but the true motive remains elusive, leaving the community haunted by the possibility that nature's fury was not the only threat lurking that day. In the aftermath, whispers persist. What truly prowled beneath the storm's cover? In March of 2025, Turnagain Pass became the scene of a chilling tragedy. 16-year-old Tucker Challen, out for a day of snow machining with friends, triggered an avalanche that buried him beneath 10 feet of unforgiving snow. Rescue efforts were swift, but the icy silence of the mountains prevailed, claiming Tucker's life. This was the 4th avalanche death in Alaska that month, a stark reminder of how quickly the landscape can turn lethal. As investigators combed the site, locals whispered about the unpredictable forces that haunt the state's vast, snow-laden wilderness, forces that seem to choose their victims without warning or mercy. In the aftermath of the tragedy, survivors and rescue workers recall a chilling silence that settled over the snow-covered landscape. Interviews reveal voices trembling as they describe the sensation of unseen eyes tracking their every movement, the oppressive weight of isolation pressing in from all sides. One rescuer recounts hearing faint whispers carried on the wind, impossible to trace, yet impossible to ignore. Another survivor admits to feeling a presence lurking just beyond the edge of vision, hidden in the endless white. To this day, many wonder if something else was out there, watching, waiting as the snow erased all evidence of what had truly happened. March in Alaska was marked by a series of deadly avalanches, each claiming lives with a merciless consistency. Locals whispered about the mounting toll, questioning whether these were simply accidents or if something more sinister lurked beneath the surface. Survivors described feeling an inexplicable pull, a sense of being watched as they traversed the frozen wilderness. Police reports noted the unusual frequency and intensity of the slides, yet no clear explanation emerged. As the snow settled over Turnagain Pass, one haunting question remained. What, if anything, was calling people into the white silence? In October of 1918, the SS Princess Sophia vanished beneath the icy waves off Vanderbilt Reef, claiming the lives of all 343 passengers and crew. The tragedy stunned Alaska, leaving behind only scattered wreckage and unanswered questions. Local fishermen still speak in hushed tones about phantom lights drifting across the water, and some have reported glimpses of a spectral ship emerging from the fog, its decks eerily silent. Police archives note repeated sightings, but no rational explanation has ever been found. To this day, the waters near Juneau remain shrouded in mystery, as if the souls of the lost refuse to let go, raising the unsettling question: what truly lingers beneath the surface? In the icy darkness off Alaska's coast, local fishermen speak in hushed tones about the nights when phantom lights flicker across the water, far from any known vessel. Some recall seeing the outline of a spectral ship, its decks shrouded in mist, silently gliding through the fog, as if searching for something lost. These sightings often coincide with sudden drops in temperature and an unnatural silence that settles over the waves. Police reports note the frequency of these encounters, yet no physical evidence has ever been recovered. The question remains: are these apparitions echoes of tragedy, or is something else haunting the cold expanse of the last frontier? On a cold October night in 1918, the SS Princess Sophia ran aground on Vanderbilt Reef near Juneau, Alaska. Despite frantic telegraph messages and desperate rescue attempts, the ship vanished beneath icy waves, claiming the lives of all 343 souls aboard. Survivors' families received only silence and the haunting sight of debris drifting in the fog. For years, locals have whispered of phantom lights flickering on the water and spectral figures wandering the shoreline, as if the tragedy left something behind. To this day, the true sequence of events remains obscured, raising unsettling questions about what really transpired in the darkness. In the heart of Skagway, Alaska, the Golden North Hotel stands as a relic of the Gold Rush era and a focal point for chilling paranormal activity. Guests have described hearing footsteps echoing through empty hallways, doors slamming without warning, and fleeting glimpses of a woman dressed in vintage clothing. Local legend identifies her as Mary, a former employee whose presence lingers long after her death. Archival interviews recount sleepless nights, shadowy figures at the end of the corridor, and a pervasive sense of being watched. Yet, despite decades of investigation, no one has ever explained the source of the hotel's restless spirits or why Mary refuses to leave. In the shadowed corridors of the Golden North Hotel, staff and guests alike whisper about encounters with Mary, the resident ghost. Night after night, footsteps echo on empty floors, and doors creak open with no one in sight. Some visitors recall glimpsing a pale woman in vintage attire, her face obscured, vanishing into the gloom before they can speak. Employees describe sudden chills and the sensation of being watched, even when alone. Despite countless reports, no one knows why Mary remains, or what she seeks in the silence of Skagway's oldest hotel. Inside the dimly lit corridors of the Golden North Hotel, every creak and whisper seems to carry the weight of history. Guests speak in hushed tones about Mary, the spectral woman whose presence lingers in the shadows. Some claim to have seen her drifting through hallways, her eyes searching for something lost long ago. Others recall doors opening on their own, footsteps echoing in empty rooms, and the unmistakable chill that settles when night falls. As the stories grow, one question remains. Is Mary reaching out for justice, or is she condemned to wander these halls, forever bound to a tragedy no one remembers? In the shadowed forests and icy rivers of southeast Alaska, whispers of the Kushtaka echo through generations. According to Tlingit folklore, this shape-shifting entity moves seamlessly between human and otter form, its presence marked by unsettling cries, sometimes the wail of a baby, sometimes the desperate shout of a lost traveler. Eyewitnesses describe moments of confusion, drawn toward the sound only to find themselves face to face with something not quite human. Police reports and local interviews reveal a chilling pattern: missing persons, inexplicable footprints along the shoreline, and a lingering sense of dread that never fully dissipates. What is the Kushtaka's true nature, and why does it choose to haunt the lonely waterways of Alaska? The answers remain submerged in the cold, dark currents. In the shadowed forests and icy rivers of southeast Alaska, indigenous storytellers recount chilling encounters with the Kushtaka. Some describe hearing the plaintive cries of a baby echoing through the mist, drawing them deeper into the wilderness. Others recall the unsettling sensation of being watched, followed by sudden, inexplicable silence. A fisherman once reported seeing an otter transform into a human shape, its eyes glinting with unnatural intelligence. Despite generations of warnings, the true nature of the kushtaka remains shrouded in mystery, leaving locals to wonder what truly lurks beyond the riverbank, waiting for the next unwary traveler. In the shadowed forests and icy rivers of southeast Alaska, the legend of the kushtaka endures. Locals whisper of shape-shifting beings, half human, half otter, who lure the unwary with cries that mimic lost children. Eyewitnesses recount moments of confusion and dread, describing encounters that leave them questioning reality itself. Some believe these stories serve as cautionary tales, meant to keep people safe from the dangers of the wild. Yet, others wonder if the folklore conceals something far more sinister, something that watches from the darkness, waiting for its next victim. The truth, it seems, remains hidden in the mist. For decades, whispers of the hairy man have haunted the remote forests and icy mountains of Alaska. Locals describe a massive, shadowy figure, over 7 feet tall, broad-shouldered, and covered in dark, matted fur, moving silently through the wilderness. Hunters vanish without a trace, their camps found torn apart, with only eerie howls echoing through the night as evidence of something unnatural. Police reports document frantic calls and chilling footprints, yet no one has ever captured clear proof. As the stories accumulate, a single question lingers. Is the hairy man merely legend, or does something ancient and unseen still roam the wilds, waiting in the darkness? In the shadowed forests of Alaska, locals speak in hushed tones about the hairy man. Eyewitnesses recall nights when guttural howls echoed through the trees, freezing them in place with primal terror. Some describe stumbling upon enormous footprints, deep impressions in the moss, or finding remote hunting camps torn apart with no sign of human intruders. One hunter, his voice trembling, recounts the night he saw a towering figure vanish into the mist, leaving only a lingering sense of dread. Despite years of speculation, no one can say for certain what stalks these woods, only that its presence is felt long after the echoes fade. In the shadowed forests and icy mountains of Alaska, the legend of the hairy man persists, haunting the memories of those who claim to have seen him. Eyewitnesses describe a towering figure, shrouded in dark fur, moving silently through the wilderness, always just out of reach, always vanishing before the truth can be grasped. Some believe he is a living beast, a relic of a forgotten age, while others whisper that he is something far older, a spectral embodiment of the land's primordial fear. Local hunters recount nights when guttural howls echoed through the trees, and campsites were left in ruin, as if by unseen hands. The question lingers, chilling and unresolved. Is the hairy man a creature of flesh, or the restless spirit of Alaska's endless wilds? In the frozen reaches of the Arctic, Inuit families have whispered warnings for generations about the Kalapalik, a creature said to haunt the icy shorelines. Described in chilling detail as human-like, with green, scaly skin and long, curling claws, the Kalapalik is believed to lurk beneath the water's surface, humming softly to entice unsuspecting children closer. According to elders' accounts and faded police reports, some disappearances along the coast remain unexplained, fueling fears that something unnatural waits beneath the ice. The Kalapalik is said to wear a traditional amotik, a parka with a pouch for carrying its prey, vanishing into the depths with those it claims. To this day, The legend endures, leaving parents to wonder if the warnings are merely folklore or a grim reality lurking just beyond the shoreline. In the frozen reaches of Alaska, elders gather by flickering lantern light, recounting the legend of the Kalupalik, a creature said to haunt the icy waters, waiting for the unwary. Families speak in hushed tones about the humming that drifts across the shoreline, a melody so alluring that children sometimes wander too close to the edge. Over the years, chilling incidents have been whispered through generations, children vanishing without a trace, their footprints ending abruptly at the water's rim. Police reports remain inconclusive, but the stories persist, each disappearance deepening the fear that something ancient and hungry lurks beneath the surface. Even now, parents warn their children to stay away from the shore. But the question remains, what truly happened to those who never return? The legend of the Kalupalik persists, whispered along the frozen shores where children vanish without a trace. Inuit elders recall chilling nights when the wind carries a low, melodic hum, said to be the Kalupalik's call. Police reports document missing persons near icy waters, but explanations remain elusive. Some say the disappearances are accidents, yet others believe something ancient and predatory still waits beneath the ice, watching. As the darkness settles, one question remains. Are these tragedies mere coincidence, or is the Kalupalik's hunger never truly sated? In Alaska, winter brings months of relentless darkness, blanketing remote villages in silence and shadow. For many, the isolation is more than physical. It seeps into the mind, amplifying every creak, every whisper of wind outside frost-covered windows. Locals speak of how fear breeds stories, and stories breed fear, each feeding the other in a cycle as old as the land itself. Folklore here is not just entertainment. It's a survival mechanism, a way to explain the inexplicable and warn against unseen dangers lurking in the night. Yet, as the boundaries between reality and legend blur, one question remains. What is truly out there, waiting in the endless cold? In the depths of Alaska's frozen wilderness, the boundary between reality and myth is often indistinct. Police reports detail chilling encounters, unexplained disappearances, mutilated campsites, and frantic calls from isolated villages. Archival documents reveal patterns, recurring tragedies, spectral sightings, and cryptic notes left behind by those who vanished. Locals whisper stories that echo official records, yet twist them into something darker, more elusive. As investigators sift through evidence, they find themselves haunted by questions that defy rational explanation. Was it a beast, a spirit, or something far more human lurking in the shadows? Investigators and folklorists have long pondered the enduring grip of Alaska's horror stories. In interviews, they describe how the state's isolation and unforgiving landscape amplify feelings of vulnerability and fear, fueling tales that blur the line between reality and myth. Police reports often mention the psychological toll of endless darkness and silence, where imagination can become a formidable adversary. Folklorists suggest these stories serve as cautionary lessons, reflecting deep-seated anxieties about survival and the unknown. Yet, as each generation retells these legends, one question remains. Are we simply projecting our fears onto the wilderness, or is something truly watching from the shadows? In Alaska, the line separating the ordinary from the unthinkable is never truly clear. Locals speak of a landscape where the unknown is woven into daily life, where footsteps echo in empty corridors and distant howls pierce the silence of the tundra. Investigators and witnesses alike describe a persistent sense of unease, as if something unseen lingers just beyond the reach of light. Here, reality itself seems fragile, easily disrupted by forces that defy explanation. The question remains, what truly waits in the shadows of the last frontier? As the icy wind sweeps across Alaska's silent wilderness, the shadows of these stories linger, refusing to fade. Photographs of abandoned cabins, snow-blurred roads, and haunted faces flicker in and out of focus, each hinting at mysteries that remain unsolved. Eyewitnesses still speak in hushed tones about strange footprints and distant howls echoing through the night. Police reports close with chilling ambiguity, leaving families and investigators searching for answers that never come. In the endless expanse of snow and silence, one question persists. What truly waits out there, just beyond the reach of light?